My name is Beth, and you are listening to the Canna Fitness and Nutrition Podcast, where we are sitting at the intersection of fitness, nutrition, and cannabis. And today, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to go about getting started in cannabis, especially if you are a fitness fanatic or just like to be fit and or into nutrition, being healthy, maybe losing weight, and just feeling your best. Where should you start with cannabis? Now, I actually have a printable guide that I'd be happy to send out. If you're interested, you can email me for that. But it's a Cannabis for Beginners guide. And I made this up because when I first was introduced to cannabis and somebody said, oh, you should try CBD, it's supposed to be great for anxiety. Okay, so I went on the internet and I typed in CBD and a million things popped up and I had no idea what I was looking at. And I ordered some, and it's not cheap. It was like $50 for a bottle. And so I bought a tincture. I didn't know what any of the words meant. So I just bought it and I ordered it. It came, I used it, and I didn't really feel anything because I didn't know what I was doing, right? And if I had known that someone like me existed, then I would have reached out and I would have been like, hey, Beth, like, what should I do? I heard this is good. And then I would have been able to advise a little bit. So now that I know, I'm excited to be able to share, because if you're interested, these are some things to think about, especially when you're trying to be healthy, as a lot of you are trying to be your healthiest self or maybe even lose weight. So the first thing you want to think about when it comes to cannabis is, do you want to experience the high or not? Because when I say cannabis, I'm talking about all versions. And there's a lot of different, what they're called cannabinoids, and there's a lot of them, and they do different things. So some of them will make you feel high, and some of them will not. So that's the first question is I ask people is, are you interested in looking for a buzz, or are you interested in something with no buzz, as I call it? So buzz comes from THC, okay? And that's your traditional cannabis where people smoke and get high, okay? Now there's lots of different ways to do that. I'll get into that. But now CBD does not make you high. It does not have the compounds in that part of the plant that provide the buzz. So if you're looking for the benefits but without the buzz, then you're looking for CBD. Okay? So those are the first two distinct differences. Now, they both have some specific and general applications, but you can get relief for whatever you want from both of them, whether it's sleep, you want better sleep, whether it's you want to work on your energy, whether it's anxiety, there are benefits to both. I will say the one biggest difference is that if you are looking for appetite suppressant, that's going to be more CBD, okay? So appetite suppression, CBD, no buzz. Now, you can combine things, and this is getting a little complicated, so I don't want to make it too complicated, but you can combine CBD and THC, and you will find a lot of products that will still provide some appetite suppression, is what I should say. Because traditional THC does stimulate your appetite, or it can stimulate your appetite, I will say, because it's a plant, and there's different variations of the plant, and we call them strains, and they all have different names, and you'll see that they're funky names like Blue Dream and OG Kush, and they tend to be kind of funky, but all that does is just differentiate them. And there's different ones that have different properties. So some of the THC, if you get the right property, and those are called, for the most part, terpenes, all right? Now we're getting technical here, but there are some terpenes that don't stimulate your appetite. So there are some kinds that don't stimulate your appetite, that don't give you the munchies. And then there's some different variations. There's THCV, which is a newer one that we're hearing a lot about because it also doesn't give you the munchies. Because not everybody wants that. Appetite stimulation could be helpful in certain circumstances, but for those of us that are more into being healthy and fit and maybe looking to lose weight, we don't want any appetite stimulation. We'd rather have it be suppressed. And so CBD, again, no buzz, can be really helpful in suppressing your appetite in a natural way without having to go through the drugs and the interactions and all the side effects that come with the drugs. In fact, the way that works in your body, the way CBD works in your body is very similar to how the drug works in your body. If you've heard of like Wegovy and Ozempic and all those drugs out there, it's the same process. So my suggestion is always a natural approach because you're going to feel a lot better. The great thing about CBD too is it makes you feel better so you don't have those lousy side effects. So CBD versus THC, high or no high, buzz or no buzz? That is the first question. When you're going to the dispensary or you're looking online, what do you want? Do you want buzz or no buzz? Okay, second question. And this is a big question because a lot of the plants are broken down into sativa, indica, and hybrid. Okay, for the most part, you'll see that a lot. If you go online and look at the dispensary menus or you go to the dispensary, everything is pretty much labeled either sativa, indica, or hybrid. Now, indica, the way you remember this, indica is in the couch, which is your sleepy time kind, all right? It tends to make you drowsy. Now, there are, it's not 100%, but for the most part, your indicas leave you in the couch because you're tired, okay? Your sativas tend to be more energizing. So whether you want to be sleepy or if you want to be energized, that's something to seriously consider when it comes to your CBD or THC. Which do you want? There are hybrids now that have some of both. And then when we look at those, they generally will have a percentage, like one, it would be percentage percentage indica versus percentage sativa. They may not be labeled quite that well. They may just say hybrid. And in that case, you're going to expect a little bit of both. You might be a little tired and you might be a little energized. The thing about cannabis and all types, CBD, THC, indica, sativa, is that everybody responds differently. So there are some general feelings and things that you'll get from it that are dominant, I would say, amongst most people. But there's always, sometimes people work the opposite and they'll take sativa and feel tired. So it can be very individual. And one thing I always tell people too is that it takes a lot of trial and error. So it's not something that it's just a given. You have to try it, assess it, and then see how you feel, and then maybe try something different. And that's where, I can be helpful. If you're interested, I can be helpful in coming up with some different ideas for you. But at the dispensary, the bud tenders, they're called bud tenders when they're helping you. They can also be really helpful in looking for different products because they talk to customers all day, every day. So they get a general sense of what's working for who. Also, the app Leafly, so Leaf, Leafly, Leafly, is well known and widely used, widely recognized as a great resource for strains, for products. So if you go on the app Leafly, you can look up strains, you can look up products, and you can get customer reviews. And they kind of summarize it. So you get what people generally get from the different types. So Leafly, remember that. Okay, now, number 3. How do you want to consume it? All right, and this is a big question, important question, because if you're going to go in the dispensary or if you're going to look online, it's going to give you a lot of options. Do you want to look at edibles? Do you want to look at vapes? Do you want to look at the flower so that you can smoke it? Do you want to look at, they're called pre-rolls, so they're already rolled up joints. Do you want concentrates? Do you want drinks? Do you want topicals? There's a lot of options. So what do you feel most comfortable using? How do you feel most comfortable using cannabis? And this applies to buzz or no buzz. It's all the same. There's different variations. So, and there's a lot of different ways, and it's individual. So you may love a gummy, right? You may love a gummy and that helps you go to sleep, for example, and that's great. You may love a tincture, which is oil. So a drop of oil may be great. It's very discreet. You may love to vape. I think that can be really beneficial. You may love the pre-rolled joints. Like, when you get into the flower, it gets a little more technical. So I won't go over that today because I'll keep this as a kind of an introductory episode. But it's something to think about is what are you most comfortable trying? A lot of people are the most comfortable trying edibles for the first time. But the thing about edibles is that they take a while to take effect because it goes through your digestive system. So it can take a while. And sometimes that can be a little unnerving because you're like, is it working? Is it working? And if you're open to inhalation, the vape can be nice because it's very fast acting. Now, vaping, there is some research out there about vaping. It's technically not as bad as smoking for your lungs because doesn't have the carcinogens in it that are harmful from smoking cigarettes. So that's something to look into and think about based on your own personal preference. But tinctures are great. They're very discreet. There's all kinds of edibles now. So there's everything from gummies to chocolate bars to mints. I've seen a lot of mints lately that I like, and I like making healthy edibles. Of course, you may have heard me on social media talk about my happy butter, almond butter, or the healthy protein balls, or I infuse my roasted chickpeas all the time with CBD to help with anxiety. So there's lots of different ways. And then one of my favorites is the drinks, because they make these, most of them are kind of like a seltzer, but they infuse the seltzer with, either CBD or THC or both. And they are faster acting than edibles because of the way it goes through your digestive system and hits your bloodstream faster. So it's a little bit faster acting. It's not as discreet per se, but it can be a great substitute for alcohol. So if you're trying to stop drinking, for example, or drink less, trying a seltzer can be a great way to relax and maybe get a little bit of a buzz without the effects of alcohol. So drinks. So again, think about how you're comfortable consuming it. And then also, what do you want to use it for? Do you want to use it for fun, like just recreationally for fun, just to get a buzz and relax and chill with your friends and family? Then great, that's what you want it for. If you want it for anxiety, then you want to look for something that helps with calmness and focus. If you have a little bit of the ADHD that we might all have a little bit of, then you want something with a lot of focus in it, right? If you want it for sleep, then you want something for sleep. And the great thing about living in this day and age is that everything is targeted. So you'll see online, or if you go to the dispensary, you'll see that things are targeted for sleep, and they're targeted for calm, and they're targeted for focus. And I'm even seeing things that are targeted for bliss, and they're talking about like bedroom bliss. So it can be pretty exciting to see all of the products that are out there right now, but it can also be super confusing. And so I hope that just gives you a little bit of a general overview of what to look for. So just as a recap, we are looking for, do you want to be high or not? So buzz or no buzz, because that'll determine whether you're looking for more of a THC or more of a CBD. Do you want to be tired or energized, so that we can narrow it down to whether you're looking for more of an indica couch, or whether you're looking for more of an energizing sativa, or whether you want to try a hybrid of both. How do you want to consume it? So are you looking for an edible, a drink, an oil, a vape, a pre-roll joint? How? And then what do you want to use it for? So those are the big questions. If you're going to visit the dispensary, again, I have this all in a printable guide. If you're interested, I can send it to you. That you can bring when you go to the dispensary, or when you look online. These are the things to think about. So I hope that was helpful. And if you're interested in the guide or any other questions, send me an email. It's SkinnerEL, which is SKINNEREL @gmail. You can contact me through the website, which is cannafitnessnutrition.com. I'm on social media, on Instagram as Beth_fit_personal_trainer, all the underscores. And I'm on Facebook, Beth Skinner Jasinski. So let me know if you have any questions. And I hope that this was helpful. So I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.